I'm Chad Douglas, continuing our Connect to Congress initiative with Congressman Darren LaHood of Illinois' 18th District. Congressman, getting straight to it, how seriously is school safety taken on Capitol Hill, and what's being done today to address school shootings?
Well, I think we've done a number of things. First of all, if you look at the perpetrator in this latest school shooting, again, appears to have suffered from mental illness, had some behavioral characteristics that were similar to other people involved with these mass shootings. And so mental illness, it seems to be the core of these problems. And so in Congress, we've allocated a lot of money in two different bills for mental illness. Secondly, we passed the Protect Our Schools Violence Act here in the House. Allocates $50 million a year to help protect our schools. We need to continue to do that. But I think the real focus is on mental illness. How do we get to kids that have depression, that suffer from that, to make sure that they get the proper treatment that they need? And I think we'll wait and see what this investigation reveals, what comes out of that, and make sure that we continue to work on this. But young people or perpetrators that suffer from mental illness is a problem that may not necessarily be solved in Washington, D.C. and may have to be solved at the local level and the state level.
How confident are you that a summit between President Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un of North Korea will actually happen?
Well, we'll see. I know, listen, when you're dealing with a dictator like Kim Jong-un, who is unreliable, who has never followed rules over the last 25 years, who has, purposefully evaded anything from the international community, the devil will be in the details. But we've made a lot of progress thus far. If you think about it, 6 months ago, he was firing ICBMs into the Pacific Ocean. Now he's talked about reunification with South Korea. He's talked about denuclearization. But we need this summit to happen on June 12th and him to come to the table with concrete, real proposals on how he is going to end his nuclear weapons system and what he's going to do to move forward. And lastly, I've said this before, if you look at the world and you look at the history of dictators, it normally does not end well for them. Whether you're Muammar Gaddafi, whether you're Saddam Hussein, whether you're Hugo Chavez, things are not going to end well for Kim Jong-un, and it would be in his best interest and the best interest of the North Koreans to come to the table and begin this process of denuclearization.
The Trump administration recently announced tariffs on steel and aluminum would not happen for China. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm glad that the potential trade war with China has dissipated. However, I don't think that we got what President Trump ultimately wanted, was to hold the Chinese accountable. They've continued to engage in activity that's illegal in terms of forced technology transfer, stealing our intellectual property. They've continued to engage in these actions. We have to hold them accountable. And you do that, through trade action. So I wish we could have gotten more, but there is collateral damage that will be done to our farmers. The biggest importer of soybeans to China is the United States, and many of those soybeans are grown in my district. So I think we have to be very careful. I hope that President Trump doesn't let up on the Chinese, but it's a fine line that you have to follow between holding them accountable, making sure they change their behavior, and making sure we don't have our agriculture products suffer as a consequence.
The Farm Bill did not pass the House last week, so what is the plan moving forward for this legislation?
Well, I'm disappointed the Farm Bill failed. Ag is the number one industry in my district. It's the number one industry in the state of Illinois. This Farm Bill is a good bill. A lot of good policies for our agribusiness, for our local farmers, for our family farms. It's headed in the right direction. It's unfortunate that petty politics, particularly the Democrats, not one Democrat voted for it, but 90% of the provisions in this bill are bipartisan. The Farm Bill has always been a bipartisan bill. So a couple things happened. One is we had a number of conservatives, because we did not get an immigration vote, again, separate from the Farm Bill, decided not to support it. And then we had Democrats that wouldn't even cast a single vote for the bill. I anticipate we'll have a vote in June and it will pass. And we'll get the Farm Bill over to the Senate. It's important that we do this. And the other thing is, in the Farm Bill, we make real substantial changes to the SNAP program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, which is a welfare program that helps poor women with children and elderly folks and also people with disabilities. But what we say is, if you're an able-bodied working person, in a society today where we have the lowest unemployment in 25 years, 6 million unfilled jobs, now is the time to get able-bodied working people off of welfare, off of SNAP, and get them into the workforce.
And what are your thoughts on the administration missing the deadline to send a new NAFTA deal to Congress?
I'm disappointed that this administration has not negotiated a new NAFTA. 1/3 of the products grown in Illinois or produced in Illinois go to Mexico or Canada. NAFTA has worked well, particularly in our ag sector, particularly in our manufacturing sector. We need a good NAFTA. And so I'm disappointed with the administration, particularly Ambassador Lighthizer, that he has not been more forceful with getting a deal that helps. Listen, NAFTA equals jobs and economic opportunities for Central and West Central Illinois. We need to get NAFTA done, and I'm going to continue to press the administration to make sure that we get a good deal, and I think we're headed in that direction, but we need to get it done quick.
Congressman Darren LaHood, we appreciate your time.